Welcome back to the United States of Australia. I am the Aussie Guy, the most forgettable man in podcasting. And just the one person joining me this week, I probably should have dropped you off the screen and made a surprise, but I don't even have a joke intro for you today. So you may as well just be sitting there. You're just a joke to look at anyway. So that's the joke, I guess. Welcome, Robbie, the Mariner fan. How you doing?
Great. I feel like a joke as well.
Yeah? Yeah, what's got you down this
Yeah.
week?
Nothing besides lack of sleep, over health issues, and all sorts of stuff.
Mm. Any new health issues we might need to let anybody
Uh,
know about?
let's think. I don't think so. I'm sure there's
All right,
something I'm
good.
forgetting.
All right, good. Well, I'm glad you're feeling good. A lot's gone on since our last show. Um, we had Cat Williams go on Club Shay Shay and just drop bombs all over Hollywood. We had Aaron Rodgers needling Jimmy Kimmel, and we got Jason Whitlock making everybody at ESPN lose their minds this week. It's been a fun week for people trolling celebrities on podcasts. Robbie, I know you've enjoyed some of this and taken some of this in. What's been your favorite of the three, the big three there? Cat Williams, Aaron Rodgers, and Jason Whitlock. Who do you think did the best bit of work?
I think it would be the Aaron Rodgers one, not because, or mainly because it shows there's this like civil war going on inside ESPN that's not even coming out yet, and it's just fun thinking about all those rich people that live in gated communities that think they're so much better than the average person, just bickering and like trying to cut each other's heads off while being polite at the same time. Because like McAfee goes on his show and calls an executive at ESPN an enemy within. Then he apologizes and says Aaron Rodgers won't be on the show anymore. And then the very next day, Aaron Rodgers is back on the show. So there's like crazy tug of war going on right now. I'm sure the people at ESPN are like, why did we lay off half of our employees just to get this guy who's now causing a civil war? It's just all so funny because I just picture them running all the executives running around with their like chickens, like just freaking out, not knowing what to do.
Headless chickens or chickens with their heads cut off? Is that what you're going
Yeah,
for?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, I did love the Aaron Rodgers one. The Cat Williams one was really fun. I don't think you've checked that one out, have you?
No,
I was very much enjoying the Cat Williams one. I whether none of it was true, whether some of it was true, whether all of it was true, I don't care. Cat Williams is an entertaining guy, and I enjoyed listening to him tell his little stories, whether they're true or not. Look, I'm inclined to believe a lot of this stuff because, as I tweeted the other day or X'd, what do you do? What do you do on X? Do you X? Anyway, uh,
post.
you post. Oh, yeah, that's boring, isn't it? Twitter had its
Mm.
own word. Anyway, I just said all of these like rich celebrities feeling they have to do response videos and all of that. It's like, what do you have to hide then? Like you're getting upset about someone you're calling a nobody or insignificant or stupid or whatever. But you're also going out of your way to defend yourself against, like, if they're so stupid, why do you need to defend yourself? But the Aaron Rodgers one was the most fun. I agree, because he was very careful about his wording, and I again had a fight with somebody on Twitter over that because I'm a big stickler for wording, and all these people are going around saying Aaron Rodgers called Jimmy Kimmel a pedophile. It's like, no, he didn't. He made allusions to it, perhaps, but all he said was the Epstein list is coming out, and Jimmy Kimmel doesn't want it to, or something like that. Uh, but yeah, to see Jimmy Kimmel then, dude, how much time did he spend in his next monologue talking about Aaron Rodgers?
I heard it was the
Uh,
entire opening monologue.
which is, what is that? 11 minutes? What does that go?
12,
10 minutes?
13 minutes. I think
12,
it's 12,
13
13.
minutes. He dedicated to Aaron Rodgers' like 2-line sort of joke as a dig back at him after you dunked on Aaron Rodgers a couple of years ago over the vaccine. Like, yeah, Jimmy Kimmel came across as such just a little bitch. And then I love the way McAfee played it. Excuse me. Um, Saying that Aaron Rodgers was done and I'm happy about it and all of that and playing it up. So everybody ran stories about how Aaron Rodgers has been suspended and then to bring him back the next day was just lovely. I thought that was fantastic what McAfee did there. So that one was fun. Yeah, I'm interested in this Jason Whitlock one because, yeah, Stephen A. Smith flipped out pretty bad about Jason Whitlock.
2
But
days in a row. He was like, "I'll
yeah,
never say your name again," and then the next day it's, "I'm not done yet." It's like, Jesus, what is going on?
I think when like, yeah, we all know Jason Whitlock is a big fat tub of goo. I think if that's the only thing you're going back to, and yes, I understand the irony. That's what we do with Robbie, but it's different. Robbie's in on it. It's not a burn at Robbie. Robbie's with us on it. Trying to get at somebody and calling them fat when they're clearly fat. Like people need to learn that that's not. They know they're fat. Who gives a shit? They don't give a fuck if you call them fat. But that seems to be all Stephen A. Smith has got is he's fat and he's a piece of shit. Which sure, those things probably line up. But Stephen A's flipping out. So perhaps this college scholarship recruitment story. I don't know if you're up to date on that, Robbie, but I get the sense that that story is all bullshit, and Stephen A. is doing his best to protect his little story. You're not caught up on it?
No, I just saw the response. I didn't see what caused it, to be honest.
Fair enough. All right. Well, we'll move along from that. It's funny actually because just closing on it. ESPN has had the whole they're woke and everyone stopped tuning in because they're woke. And then they put Aaron Rodgers on and Aaron Rodgers does his and he's not even right wing. He's just there's certain issues that he's got an opinion on. But yeah, Aaron Rodgers gives some opinions that are against,
Because
I guess, the woke
when I
agenda.
think hardcore right wing, I think a peyote smoking guy, or
Exactly.
like who
Yeah.
does hallucinogenics and goes on darkness retreats and everything.
Which that's one of the things Kimmel said was if you don't like Trump, then they hate you or whatever. And it's like, no, sorry, if you don't like Trump, then you're a pedophile. That's right, because it was the Epstein list. And it's like, no, we think you're a pedophile because you've got no talent, you're not funny, and you're not entertaining, but you get millions of dollars to be funny and entertaining. That's why we think you're a pedophile, not, you know what I mean? Not because you hate Trump. But anyway, that was fun. That was good fun that, celebrities trolling celebrities. I like it. Always enjoy it. Entertained by it. I guess the main thing we want to talk about is now the NFL playoffs. We haven't really, we did the picks with Tukey on New Year's, but the last we spoke, I think you and I were arguing a little bit about where Josh Allen was at and what the game of the week was that week and all that. But Josh Allen had a lot of work to do. Well, Josh Allen and the Bills, of course, had a lot of work to do leading into playoff time. And I'm always fair, Robbie. I like to needle you about Josh Allen and everything, but yeah, that last 6 or 7 weeks was brilliant. I will
Told
say
you.
that last game, I will say, yes, job got done and, moved the ball, but he did make some really bad decisions at times that, they could have stomped Miami. But here's one I will say, and I don't think enough people talk about it. I'll give him credit for the second interception. And the Miami player shouldn't have caught that interception. He needs to be criticized for that. That was 4th down. If that's an incomplete pass, you get the ball at midfield. By catching that interception, you get it at the 25 now. You know what I mean? So the
The
Miami
pick
player
punt.
should have just been batting that ball down to create a turnover on down. So I actually think Josh threw that ball up there hoping anyone caught it, just
Yeah.
because it was fourth down. So I think it's actually a smart play, genuine smart play. And I don't think the Miami defender gets enough or any criticism for not understanding the situation and just batting the
Mhm.
ball to the ground and creating an incomplete pass as opposed to an interception. Thoughts, Robbie?
I agree. That's why when people are like, "Well, he had 2 interceptions and a fumble," it's like, "Well, did he really have 2 interceptions?" Because like one was like it was about as much as a like it was a backup option on a design play. Well, if it doesn't work, hopefully they'll intercept it. Like it wasn't the worst outcome on that play, where usually an INT is the worst outcome
Wait, the
on a
first
play.
one. Didn't the first one end a great drive down the field?
No, I'm
Then it
talking
was a
about the
really bad
second one.
play. Oh,
Yeah,
the second interception in the end zone
yeah,
where he was fourth down. Yeah, that. Like I say, that's a
yeah,
smart play. You just throw it up and hope
yeah,
somebody catches it,
yeah.
whoever. Um, and yeah, dumb from Miami defense to actually catch it. They got it done though in the end, Robbie. Despite all that,
Hmm.
and he was very good in the latter part of the season. Oh, look, he is very good. He has his moments, and I've said to you before, I think there's a little bit of Tony Romo about Josh Allen in terms of I think he's really good most of the time. There's just a few just moments where he drifts off, whatever it is. Like he's locked into the game most of the time. He just has lapses in concentration. I think Tony Romo suffered from that. I think Tony Romo was a great quarterback that just had lapses in concentration at like really bad times. All seriousness, Robbie, do you like how much do you stress about this playoff run now? Like, are you at all nervous? Like, Josh Allen's got something to prove, doesn't he? And like, how nervous are
I
you
don't think
that
Josh Allen has anything to prove. I'm just nervous about this game because it's going to be 50-mile-per-hour winds, so it sets up well for the Steelers, who just can't throw the ball anyway. So
I
that's what
know, but
worries me.
if you got the wind at your back, Josh Allen could throw a touchdown from his own end zone, couldn't he? Like,
Yeah, but it's still hard to accurately throw a ball because you can't
no,
hit
and
the
you do have to
speed.
wait for the guy to get to the other end of the field, which you probably
Yeah,
don't have that time in your own end zone. So,
yeah, yeah.
but no, look, he has played great playoff games in the past. Don't get me wrong. I do understand that. It's not that he's a massive choker in the playoffs, but his last playoff game was a serious disappointment, and it was a home in his conditions. And he's earned home field advantage now until you get to potentially the Ravens, if not home field all the way. I believe they beat the Steelers, but then it's the next step and the next step. Um, trying to think of how to word this. What is a success to you, I guess? There it is. What is a success to you now for Josh Allen this season? Is it Super Bowl or bust? Or what are you willing to concede and let Josh Allen what stage are you willing to let him lose at?
If he were to have like a Chiefs-like loss, like where it wasn't in the Super Bowl, but it wasn't really his fault, that'd be a successful season. But I would hope like at least the AFC champ or not the AFC, the AFC championship game.
Yeah, I think that's a minimum. Now you're the 2 seed. You can't cough it
Yeah,
up
yeah.
again. So no, I like that. Look, I think they should. The Ravens are a great team and a great defense, and I can see them getting to Josh
Hmm.
Allen, and so I can see him losing in the conference championship. But in terms of quarterback play, sorry, Lamar Jackson. In terms of quarterback play, to me, the Bills have got to get to the Super Bowl. The AFC is weak. It's weak.
Mm.
You agree?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, because if you look at the division, the Chiefs seem broken. The
Mm,
Dolphins are this weird team that are good against bad teams, so they don't really scare you.
mm.
Especially since by halftime, one of their 2 receivers always seems to be hurt, either Waddle or Hill. And then I don't know. The Ravens are the only team that really strikes fear into the Bills, I think. And that's they've beaten the Ravens before when Lamar's had a great year. Um, I don't know if it was his MVP year, the year they beat him in the playoffs or not, but it's just like,
I think it
I
was
mean, I don't
actually. Yeah,
think what?
I think it was an MVP. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't think that the Bills are like scared of the Ravens. So it'll be interesting to see if the Chiefs can flip the switch. Sometimes that
Mm.
happens, but usually that's an NBA thing, not a football thing. Like you don't just
Yeah,
suddenly go from being mediocre to great in the span of a week.
it's
So
kind of
I'm intrigued on
that
that.
Aaron Rodgers won Super Bowl win was when nobody expected him to win the Super Bowl. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Where great quarterback play and guys just playing out of their skin can actually win it for you. That's what the Chiefs need right now.
but didn't they have like Eric Decker and Jordy Nelson back then? Like the Chiefs have
I
no
think it,
receivers.
I think it was even before them. Maybe not. You might be right.
No. I mean, like
Um,
the Chiefs, their best receiver is Rasheed Rice, who I'm not sure, like he has a promising future, but I'm not sure he'd be a number two on any of the other like serious contenders for a wide
mm,
receiver right now. And Travis
the,
Kelsey, it's weird. Like it's halfway through the season. It's not just a Taylor Swift that lazy narrative. It legitimately looks like he's lost a step over the last half of the season. Like
it,
he's not
the
making dudes miss when he gets in the open field like he did before. He doesn't have that little sneaky wiggle. It's just very odd. So
the Taylor Swift stuff is a great deflection for it, and I think it has an impact. It has to. There's more attention on you. You know what I mean? Not
yeah,
just your normal attention. It's this extra attention,
mm,
and you might be getting those extra comments on social media or DMs like telling
mm,
you they want you to die because you took their woman or whatever. So I think that does affect him mentally, but you're right. And this happens with athletes that are supreme talents is one day they just fall off a cliff. And it's amazing how often it happens where you just see someone that's a supreme talent and the year previous they're setting records and then you start the next season and it's just not there anymore. Like you say, they've lost a step. Perhaps their vision's gone a
mm.
little bit and they're not realized they need glasses or something yet. All of those different things that affect your judgment and all that. So, yeah, I don't like the Chiefs. I don't like them at all. The only thing they got going for them is the weather there at the moment and the
Mm.
wind chill and all that. Miami not used to that. But I think Miami were in a better position to win that game than the Chiefs.
Chiefs are 4-point favorites,
4 points.
just which is somewhat
Hmm.
surprising.
Interesting. What?
At
No.
least last time I looked, it had gone up from 3 to 4.
Is what's the story with Mostert? Raheem Mostert? Is he out for the season or
He's questionable to
questionable?
play.
Because if
But
you
their
go, if
backup's pretty good too, in Devon Achan or whatever his name is.
yeah, Achan, if Mostert is playing, maybe even in the number two role with Achan running the
Yeah.
one, like they could get easy rush yards, and they ran they ran the same play 3 times against the Bills
Mm,
through Achan on a screen pass. They ran the exact same play 3 times. They cooked the Bills every single time. They got like 12,
mhm,
13 yards on it every single time. It's plays like that where in those conditions, not necessarily conducive to throwing the ball down the field. I think Miami is set up better, surprisingly, given they're
mm,
from Miami. I think their team is structured better for those kind of conditions.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Yeah,
Nothing else to
maybe.
add?
No.
All right. Anyone else?
Maybe.
Who else do you want to talk about from the AFC? Do you think is a look?
Joe.
The
Oh,
Browns,
go ahead.
the Browns have a great defense, and
Yeah.
Joe Flacco is a January quarterback. You know what I mean? That's how he
Yeah.
made his name, was being a January quarterback. Oof. The Browns are a sneaky one.
Mm. Yeah. CJ Stroud looked pretty good as a rookie though, but you
That's
never
true.
know how rookies are going to perform in the playoffs. Usually, rookie quarterbacks in the playoffs don't do very well. But at the same time, Joe Flacco's had like his crazy 6-week run. He hasn't been very good, like for the past couple years, and now he's
Mm.
doing well. So I can't get a read on that game. I figure one of the two quarterbacks is going to choke. It's just going to, and it's probably going to be a blowout in one direction or the other. So
I actually think the other way, just because I've seen a little bit of CJ Stroud this year, and every time I've seen him, it's fucking balls to the wall football. Like he can drive the team down the field with no time left on the clock. Like he's got balls of steel. He can handle it. And I think again, Joe Flacco has shown that in January in the past. And yeah, you can call it jump ball Joe, where he had some spooky plays. I remember one against Denver that's just insane. How was the receiver even open? But he gets it done in January. That could be a fun game where it is actually toe to toe in the fourth quarter. A couple of strong drives from both teams, and it comes down to the wire. I look forward to that game. To be honest, I think it's the hardest to pick.
mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
I do understand it's early, Robbie, but try and keep the energy up and the yawning down. Could
No,
you?
I said it was this. That was my. I said I can't get a read on the game.
Yeah. All right. Good. Good. What's left in the AFC? What have we got left?
Just the Steelers,
Oh,
Bills,
Steelers and the
Dolphins,
Bills. Yeah.
Chiefs. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the Bills should get it done against the Steelers. Yeah, crazy weather conditions. Does the game get shifted to a neutral venue? Has that been confirmed yet, Robbie? Or
Not that I know of. I know they're watching it, but I haven't seen anything. Not that I haven't checked it this morning, but I mean, they're saying like apocalyptically bad weather. So
interesting. Yeah, you got to pick the Bills. You have to pick the Bills.
yeah.
It's the Steelers snuck in on a wing and a prayer. Look, at one point the Bills were sneaking in on a wing and a prayer as well, but they isn't that crazy? The Bills had two options of potentially missing the playoffs or being the number 2 seed, depending on what
Yeah.
happened on the weekend. Like it's crazy, and that's what is crazy about the AFC is that was in place. On the NFC side, I think the best team in football is the 1 seed in the NFC. And look, first of all, I'll say thank you to the Philadelphia Eagles for completely collapsing at the end of the season to give the Cowboys the 2 seed, because I know I was just sitting back going, we need as many home games as possible in the playoffs if we're any chance of getting to the Super Bowl. Going on the road, we can't do that 3-4 weeks in a row to win a Super Bowl. We need 2 at home. So to get that 2 seed, I'm happy for the Cowboys. Now I just wait and see of how they play it. I think they should dispatch Green Bay pretty comfortably, but you never know. You never know what happens, but I'm confident them steamrolling Green Bay. It's that getting to the Niners in the conference championship. Maybe someone can knock the Niners off, but get to the Niners in the conference championship and then see what happens. You and I are probably in the same boat, aren't we, really, with talking about our expectations of the playoffs. You're thinking that Josh Allen should get to the conference championship against the 1 seed, and then can we beat them? I feel the same way. I think the Niners are the best team in the NFL, and they are far and away the favorites to win it all. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I feel like there's the 49ers and then everyone else.
Yeah.
So it'd be very surprising if the 49ers didn't make the Super Bowl.
And I think when you look at it player for player, I think the Cowboys do match up best with them, but
Yeah.
where the Niners absolutely just strangle the Cowboys is the running game. And it's unfortunate. I love Tony Pollard, but McCaffrey is worlds ahead of Tony Pollard. The Cowboys running game has been down this year, which used to be the strength of the Cowboys. yeah, that's the problem for me is that's just a position they really dominate. Whereas across the rest of the team, the Cowboys match up really well with the Niners. But we all know how these games can go and how they can break our heart. So I'm predicting a Cowboys Niners conference championship, but we'll let the games play out. So I've said the Cowboys will easily account for Green Bay. What are your thoughts?
I don't know. I think until the Cowboys do it, I just assume they're going to choke. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be mean, but if I had to,
No.
I think the Cowboys would probably win, but I might place a substantial wager, as in like $20, which is substantial for me. 20 bucks on the Packers spread because they're 7 point underdogs, and I expect they're. I don't know. I think it's going to be close. It's not going to be a steamroll situation unless Jordan Love completely shits the bed and throws like 4 interceptions, which is always possible with a rookie, or not a rookie, but a first-time playoff QB.
The only reason I say the Cowboys will steamroll them because I think that's the only way they win.
Yeah.
If the Cowboys, particularly, whether they get the ball first or on their first drive, they go down and score a touchdown, and then the scores just start flowing. Cowboys win comfortably. If it's close, I could see Green Bay getting it because the Cowboys choked. Like, yeah, I do believe in the witchcraft that you believe in. Like, there's an ongoing tradition for a long period of time now with the Cowboys in the playoffs where things just don't go right when they're supposed to. But if the Cowboys score early, which is what I always look for, I don't like to see the opposition score first because the Cowboys tend to struggle in those situations when the opposition scores first. But
Hmm.
if the Cowboys' first drive is a touchdown, I'm confident they just cruise to victory. Obviously, the Niners got the bye week. Who else got in the NFC? The Rams. They did a similar to the Bills. Obviously, didn't win the division, but
Hmm.
they made a late run and are looking sort of. Actually, there's some good storylines going on at the moment because it's Stafford going back to Detroit for their home playoff game in what 30 years, 32 years, something like that. What Detroit's an interesting one. I like the Detroit Lions. I like their coach. I think they're a good team, but they are prone to a disaster. They've had a few this season. The Rams are on a roll. This is one where I could possibly go upset city where the Rams could
Yeah, I
pull this
think
one
the Rams are
off.
going to win.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be close, but I think the Rams win. I think they have a just as good a running game, just as good a passing game, and maybe I don't know. They're just so even, and then you got to factor in that the Lions haven't been there before. That
Mm.
I think the Rams will win by like a field goal or something like that.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be really tight, and I could just see again. We're talking about, I guess, the witchcraft. I could see Detroit just crushing their fans in
Yeah.
in such a big moment. But they, yeah, it's a tough one. This is a little bit again, like I mentioned, the Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl run. Just seeing a team like the Rams, Matthew Stafford's a wily veteran. He's been there and done that now. It'll be interesting to see the Rams work their way through these playoffs, and if they get past Detroit, perhaps they could make some noise and affect how things go. I do, yeah, I agree with you. I like the Rams in that one. The other game is
Eagles, Bucks.
that's right. I was trying to remember who won the South. I was
Yeah.
blanking for a minute on who won the South. Yeah, the Bucks got it done with a what was that? A 9-0 or nine to
Yeah,
three
something like that.
against
I think.
Carolina.
Yeah.
But the Eagles are fucking dog shit at the moment, and yeah, I think looking to book themselves an appointment with the 49ers themselves, even if they
Mhm.
can. If they can get past the old Buccaneers. But look, I'd like Baker to sort of continue his little redemption story. I think he's doing okay. It's a decent team around him, and he's kind of doing the game manager job. Yeah, the Eagles, we know they went to the Super Bowl last year and they were winning games to start the season. I didn't think they I didn't think they were looking great at any stage of the season, but they were churning out wins. Robbie, who you got
Um,
and why?
I think the Bucks will win because the Eagles' pass defense is atrocious, and the Bucks have two pretty good receivers in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. As long as Baker can just play competent football, I think they'll win. The kind of X factor is, does Baker have one of those meltdown games like he has had, not in the playoffs but just in general in the past. I mean, they only
It
scored 9 points against the Panthers, which isn't
Yeah,
very inspiring either.
that's what's kind of made me go. "Ugh." But with that being said, what did the Eagles score against the Giants? I mean,
Yeah, I
did they
thought they
only get?
lost,
They got
or did they
pumped by
win?
the Giants. No, they got pumped,
Oh,
and I think they only scored like 3 or 10.
10-10.
They got a junk time touchdown then, because it was like
No.
24-3 at one point
Mm.
that I saw it. So yeah, the Eagles' offense isn't firing, but I didn't like seeing 9 points against the Panthers. That's like,
Mm-hmm.
oof. I don't know if you can beat
Panthers
the
have a
Eagles.
sneaky good defense, but still.
That's true. That is true. Geez, yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
Mm,
I think they win a close
pedigree.
one. Yeah, I
Yeah.
just I think again having that run last year, these guys are pros. They remember how it feels. Um, yeah, perhaps Baker throws one of those interceptions that's like, dude, what are you doing? That's
Mm-hmm.
that's a bonehead play, and that turns the game. But I think it will be very, very close. I don't have a lot else, Robbie, and we thought we'd only go a short show. I won't get in the minutiae of why we. Well, I'll quickly explain that this obviously is a premiere. It's a recorded episode. I won't get into the minutiae as to why, but
You
we
can
will
say
just.
it's very fucking early my times. I want
Yeah,
some
it
sympathy.
is. No, it is. But
Yeah.
I never beg for sympathy for sitting here at 1:30 in the morning as we wrap up a
Oh,
show,
that's when I'm at
and
my peak brain
yeah.
activity.
And then knowing that in 4 hours my daughter's gonna wake up and that's my
Oh well,
night's
never.
sleep.
I was being sarcastic, but never mind.
No, it's
I
fine.
always forget.
I
I always forget to factor in you have kids. So
I chose this life, Robbie, it's fine.
no.
I chose this life, it didn't choose me. Clearly, we don't get a lot of viewers, but we're working on it, we're trying our best.
Yeah.
Well, and, like, actually, on the topic, given that this is a pre-recorded episode that we're premiering on YouTube, Robbie did have a great idea a little while ago, and we are gonna run with it. Yes, we will. Yeah, you did. I'll remind you of it. I remember these things, Robbie. See, this is why I run the show. We are obviously gonna continue to do live streams and all that on YouTube, and those will go up
Mhm.
on the podcast feed, but yeah, Robbie did have the idea of we are going to start to do some podcast only
Oh
content,
yeah, I did have that
where
idea.
we sort of do a live show, and at the end of it, we kind of go, all right, we're going off to record 30 minutes or so for something or some sort of topic. If you want to catch that, head on over to the podcast feed. And similarly, in the other direction, we will do shows on YouTube that are YouTube exclusive. You know what I mean? Like, it's just we want
Hmm.
to meld both communities together. Because
Yeah.
look, people do love listening on podcasts, and I am one of those people. Like, it is great if you can just open your podcast app and not have to have YouTube draining your battery for
Yeah.
an
Especially if
hour and a
you're
half
just
at a time.
walking around or doing something. You just
Exactly.
have, yeah.
And we're not exactly bringing the visual content.
No,
I don't.
that's not. Yeah.
I am fucking sweating my balls off right now, Robbie. I'm just trying to look at what the current temperature is. I think we're still sitting at about 85, 87. I just
Mm.
did the quick conversion in my head at fucking
W-
10:30
We're
at night.
we're currently at a balmy 22 degrees
That's great. I would love that right now. Although I'd probably
with 10-mile-per-hour winds and snow, which
nice.
isn't a lot of wind, but it's a consistent 10 miles, so it feels like if I were to go outside right now, they say, what's the wind chill or whatever?
Well, and
Uh,
actually speaking of that, that's one of the reasons I chose. I thought, it's probably better
feels
to
like
record
10
this one.
degrees. Sorry, I
All
didn't
right,
mean to
thanks.
cut you off.
You did mention the fact that power outages have been happening in the area and all of that. And so I was like, let's
Yeah,
record this one rather than have a live stream fall apart in the middle of it
live
because
stream just go down.
yeah. Well, it wouldn't go down because I'm running the live stream, but you would disappear
No,
and
but I
then
just like all of a sudden my screen goes black and we have no idea what happened.
yeah.
That'd kind of be funny for a minute though.
Yeah, for a minute. I mean, oh no, this actually it just goes to me on a big screen, so that doesn't really help.
Mm.
How'd you go with the website?
What website?
Remember we talked about it on the New Year's show? Tukey did his plugs and he said
Oh,
tukeysuit.com.
the link tree thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I'll do
going
that
well then.
today. Do you have
Yeah.
a name? What?
We'll discuss that. We'll discuss that off
Do
the air.
yeah,
Not the same as the Twitter
yeah,
handle. How about
off
that?
here.
Or we don't make it same as the Twitter handle.
Yeah. How about you come up with the website name because you're good at catchy stuff, and I'll go take it from there.
Well, I did come up with the Twitter handle and then someone had someone put hashtag US of Oz, like US of AUS. I was like, oh, that's perfect, Robbie. There you go. You didn't like my old Twitter handle, make it that. And now I understand that that was taken, but then you went USA of AUS. It's like, what's that A doing before the of? That
Yeah,
yeah. So that was
Australia.
dumb. You should have left it as it was.
Yeah.
It was US AUS pod before that.
I can switch it back.
It's fine. Get to work on the website. Do that. And then I wouldn't have to say,
I
hey,
will.
Robbie,
Okay.
you got anything to plug?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
What are you going to plug?
Yeah. At Mariner Robbie on Twitter. Sorry, I thought you were gonna make. I was giving you room to make a gay joke, but you didn't take it. So at Mariner Robbie on Twitter or X, I mean, and you can follow us at what it's probably bad that I can't even memorize what our podcast name is because it's so confusing. Let's see here. The
USA
USA
of.
of AUS pod.
Yeah.
AUS pod. That's what I just said.
Yeah.
That's our show page.
So what you basically did when you
And that's
changed the Twitter handle, you put OF. All right, what'd you do? Yeah, you put an OFA in the middle of it and then completely fucked it. Is what you did. So work on that.
I disagree, but okay.
But yeah, look, United
I'll
States
work
of
on
Australia is a long name and it's a long thing to type out. Sometimes I think about changing the YouTube handle because it is at United States of Australia. It is a long thing to type out until we actually start getting an audience and maybe it'll start auto selecting for people. But
autofill,
yeah. But anyway, that'll do. Check out Scoop on Twitter or X at Jesse Crean, JESSECREAN. Send him some well wishes. Say some nice things to him. Yeah, I'm getting there.
Oh,
Say
sorry, I
some
thought you were done. So
no. Say some nice things to him. He's a good man helping people in Ukraine.
Yeah, much braver than me.
Much braver than all of us.
That's true.
And of course, just Josh, whose son is much braver than all of us as well, who's going into the military. But just Josh is at NJ Hunt 02 is just Josh on Twitter or X.
That's a crazy photo we just posted.
What?
It's like a double rainbow going over this apartment, but it just
Ah,
looks
yeah, I saw that this morning. You're way behind.
No, I just saw that now.
Cool. What was I gonna say? God damn it! See what
Sorry,
you do to
my
me? You made me.
my
Yeah,
ADHD brain is going off the hook at the moment.
you need to
Yeah,
work
okay.
on. You know what? Let's
Quick
do this
story.
live. Let's do it
No,
live. You
quick
need to
story.
work on. All right, quick story. Here we go. This is what I'm
So,
talking about.
yeah, exactly. So I
How long's
can't
this
pick up my
story?
not very long. There's this Vyvanse
Well, is it enough? No, no,
Adderall.
no. Is it enough for me to have a piss? I'll still be listening.
Sure, I guess.
All right, you can feel. Go.
Okay. So I had the Adderall and Vyvanse, which are my two most important meds, and you can only pick them up like 2 days in advance because they're like a level whatever of controlled substance. So you can't just like refill it and have it ready like 4 days in advance or something. So I call yesterday. I'm like, hey, can you have it ready at Friday because of the impending ice storm? And they're like, no, but we can have it ready Saturday. I'm like, yes, but Saturday the roads are going to be closed. No stores are going to be open. I won't be able to get it. And they're like, well, that's the best we can do. Or you can pick it up Sunday. I was like, well, the snow isn't supposed to melt till Monday. And they're like, yeah, that's true. By the way, we're closed on Monday for Martin Luther King Day, but feel free to come and get it Tuesday. So that means I won't have my most important meds from now until Tuesday because apparently we can't bend the rules to help people like me because of snow, ice, and Martin Luther King Day. Rest in peace, respect.
Well done.
Yeah.
You filled that time perfectly, and I understand your frustration.
Yeah.
So you're particularly anti Martin Luther King Day this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be. Yeah. Yeah.
you're gonna protest it. Wouldn't that be funny? Good stuff. I've again lost track of. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, you need to stop reacting to what people say while they're talking. You need to let people finish and then react. You do this all the time, and like your comment gets lost and gets muffled in the background because you just can't hold your
That'll be my New
hold
Year's
your energy in.
resolution. New
Yeah,
year, new me.
yeah,
Yeah.
very good. All right, check out Get My Go, youtube.com/Get My Go. It's a couple of episodes, audio only episodes that have dropped in the last. Well, there was a Christmas one, a New Year's one, and then another one just after New Year's. So yeah, 3 episodes recently. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. And prowrestlingtees.com/Mike Durbin. Mike has a shirt up for me, and at that Sussy Guy t-shirt because on X I'm at that Sussy Guy. Just imagine that Aussie guy and put an S where the A should be. We'll catch you next time on United States of Australia.